Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur 36. Folge von Suzerain. Ihr seht, ich habe direkt dasselbe T-Shirt. Sprich, wir sind ohne Apfel dran. Letzte Folge waren wir im Welchem. Das ist schon eine super Überleitung gewesen. Heute gehen wir nach Agnolia. Saltland One's flight from Holsor to Stelport took 3 hours, but went very smoothly. We were about to touch down. David left his seat and came over while Simon was enjoying his newspaper. Looks like we are about to land, Mr. President. I looked outside. I could see Land, the island between Wellston and Agnolia. So many conflicts over a small piece of land. The island can barely sustain itself without its outside help. If I was in the shoes of Agnolian Prime Minister, I would do anything to protect the motherland. Of course, but as I get older, I started to question more things. I suspect it will be one of the topics that Mr. Von Hort will bring up as bargaining chip. We must be careful. Helgeland might be under the control of Agnolia, but the international community is yet to recognize it. For good reason too. Nobody wants to make an enemy of Welkstand, especially because of the support of United Container and DSP. Wir sind da voll auf unserer Seite. We should try to look at a bigger picture. Simon folded his newspaper, got up from his seat and sat right next to us. Aside from the point of Helgeland, we need to be careful with the additional requests. According to the deal that was negotiated so far, they want to sell us their steel for a higher price, and they are requesting easier access to our agriculture market. In return, they are promising cash flow and investments, especially in the Agnoland region. It's not hard to guess why. Precisely, Agnolian immigrants in our Agnoland region make up a good chunk of the region's economy now. During the initial negotiations, they have brought up the topic of immigration many times. Our job will be harder because of our new tightened immigration laws. Let's see if we can shake hands on it. The pilot made an announcement that the descent had started. David and Simon went back to their seats. I took another look outside the window. I could see Stelport, the capital city of Agnolia. The large dockyards of the city and the canals appeared closer as our descent continued. Stelport was certainly a fitting name due to Stel meaning canal. A couple minutes later, we finally touched down. The plane parked. I took a final look out from the window. The welcoming ceremony from Agnolia was waiting along the red carpet outside. After the guards made their way out, I exited the plane. Wave for the crowd! Yeah! I waved for the crowd that gathered. There were many camera flashes. I decided to make my way downstairs. Prime Minister von Hortner was nowhere in sight. Instead, I was greeted by the Foreign Minister. After handshakes and a couple of photos, I moved to the car where Serge was waiting to make our way to the office of the Prime Minister. Good day, sir. I hope the flight was comfortable. Yes, it was. Thank you, Serge. I got in the car and we made our way through the foreign streets. Our convoy was protected by Scottish and Agnolian guards in their vehicles. We began driving by the highway beside the port and saw dozens of dockyards and ships anchored. Some of the ships were machinery looked old. The city itself looked very grey and grim. The buildings had a touch of Rumbock's famous monarchian architecture, with a mixture of Swedish signature domes on the older ones. We were now on the main road to the office of the Prime Minister. Looks like they're not happy to see you, sir. Such by the crowd that gathered on both sides of the street. It was a protest. They were shouting and yelling at our convoy. Some of them held signs written in soldiers. Scotland must pay its debt to Agnolia. You know, I never knew Agnolians were so ungrateful. Not everyone sees a great leader like you every day. You're absolutely right, Serge. So ungrateful. I know what it is. They were always scared of Scotland's potential, and now they are afraid that the lion leads Scotland. They are afraid of you. The combat started slowing down. We have arrived, sir. The car continued through the gates, while the security vehicles went the other way. We finally came to a stop in front of the door. Serge left the car and opened the car door. I exited and began walking to the door, where dozens of press and Prime Minister were waiting for me. I saw the PM much more clearly as I neared the door. He was shorter than I thought. Mr. President, welcome to Agnolia and to the beautiful city of Selport. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. It is great to be here. He reached out for a handshake. The press surrounding us had been waiting for this moment. Overpowered his handshake, and he got caught by surprise as the press took the picture of me having the upper hand. He smiled awkwardly. He gestured to the entrance of the 200-year-old Parliament building. This way, please. We entered, and the press followed us inside. I would like to present you with a gift as a sign of friendship in between our countries. An assistant showed up immediately with a large glass box in her hands. It contained a single parchment inside. This here is one of the first treaties written in between Scotland and Agnolia. May it mark the renewal of our friendship today as well. I hope so, Mr. von Horten. Our photos were taken again. I gestured at one of my retainers who was holding a gift to the PM. Give one of the original copies of the first constitution of Scotland. Give a soldier-bred puppy despite Martin no fear of dogs. Give an ornamented ceremonial sword made in soldier steel. Our gift was one of the original copies of the first constitution of Scotland. Ah, an excellent copy. I have always wondered what one of the originals looked like. Thank you for this excellent gift. The cameras flashed once again. Let's go to my office. Follow me. I followed him and entered the office of the Prime Minister. It was a room of modern, minimalist decoration. It was far more modest than I expected. We sat down. He leaned back and made himself comfortable. Sheesh! Sheesh! Thankfully done with the ceremonies. Are you not fond of these ceremonies? I was just about to say the same. I'm not fond of these either. It's one of the tougher parts of our job. He got up from his chair and moved over the bar. There were many varieties of liquor. Would you like to drink, Mr. Rainey? Comtrima was Agnolian. Ah, you know your drink. He poured the drinks and gave mine to me before sitting down again. A true gentleman. I can respect that about you, Mr. Horton. This is how we do things in Agnolia. Mr. Rainey, I appreciate the kind words, but flattery alone won't sway me this day. First of all, I would like to say that I have been watching your recent change in immigration policy. We have worried about the new and tighter immigration laws. Immigrants are very important for beneficial economic developments and we believe that very much in Agnolian. I would definitely prefer Swordland to be welcoming to Agnolian citizens, and vice versa. The decision has already been made. Unfortunate. He took a sip from his vodka. So tell me, Mr. Rainey, is Sutherland a reliable trading partner for Agnolia? Not if you keep acting like you have the upper hand. As long as Agnolia is a reliable trading partner, I can assure you, we are. Van Houten leaned back further in contemplation. Mein Gott. Let's change the course of our nations. I'm afraid with all your actions so far, I'm not convinced that Sutherland is the right partner for Agnolia. Sutherland is simply too violent. Elected politicians are getting killed in your country, left and right. Not to mention the subsequent protests in between, well, the left and right. We were winning first, however, the situation has changed. We do not have confidence in your state anymore. I'm sorry that you've come all this way for this. Wait, can't we work something out? It's difficult. But I will still offer an alternative for this. But I will still offer an alternative for the sake of our history together. First, you will allow us privileged access to your agriculture market. And you will be buying steel from us for a higher price that rights the wrongs for the past. And there is the issue. As you know, Helgeland has all been long contested between Agnolia and Iceland. You know how the international community does not recognize a rightfully claimed on the island, including Southland. We can only agree to this deal if Southland finally announces the recognition of Helgeland as Agnolian territory. Das kostet mich ernsthaft Government Budget? Really? Ich glaube, wir können es nicht dealen. Ich will das Geld eigentlich für was anderes ausgeben. So gern ich dich mag, Van Horten. You're asking too much. We're asking too much? I took you for someone you were not, I suppose. But you're no different than your predecessors. You're not in position to judge me. I have made my decision. I thought this could be the start of a new era, but apparently not. Well then, he stood up from his chair. We must continue the official program. As you know, we will pay a visit to our founder's grave for another ceremony. Afterwards, we will move on to the state diner. After you? As soon as we left the office, I briefed Simon and David on the outcome of the meeting. The rest of our state trip was full of fake smiles, handshakes, incredibly long ceremonies, and even longer meetings between our ministers and their counterparts. When we came to the end of the trip, the way back was mostly silent. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief when we touched down on Holzwort. Aber das ist jetzt richtig schlecht. Das ist richtig schlecht, aber wir konnten Helgeland nicht als Agnolian Territory machen. Dafür haben die zu viel verlangt. Lassen wir den Scheiß jetzt alles an. Speech of the President on the Reforms. Oh Gott, das wird lustig. Gut, aber ich würde sagen, das war's dann jetzt mit der Folge. Lasst doch ein Like und ein Abo, wenn es euch gefallen hat. Schaut beim nächsten Mal wieder vorbei und tschüss.